machine, super chin, the king or the rock star. They're our final four.
Mervyn to throw for the bullseye.
And here on streaming board 1, it is the king, Mervyn King, and the rock star, Joe Cullen,
25,
who are fighting it out to make it through to the final. James Wade and Daryl Gurney
that's also 25.
will be in action over on the other streaming board in just a short while. Joe Cullen has made finals before in the PDC.
25.
3 of them in ranking events, 1 an unranked one as well, but each time he's been beaten in
25.
those finals. This weekend we've already seen a new winner on the PDC Tour, Daryl Gurney, claiming the title yesterday. He was the highest ranked player not to have claimed a PDC title. That mantle has now passed to Joe Cullen.
And 25.
And he is doing all he can to get rid of it as quickly as possible at the earliest available opportunity.
25.
He has grown as a player over the last couple of years as Joe Cullen.
25.
It was a run at the UK Open last year where he really sort of came of age almost.
25.
Made it to the quarterfinals, gave Peter Wright a real run for his money.
25.
And these two, well, they're taking their time to figure out who's going to throw first, but it could prove to be vital.
Bullseye.
Bullseye for Joe Cullen. Might prove decisive. And it does prove decisive. Joe Cullen, the Yorkshireman from Bradford, not very far away from where we are here at the Metrodome in Barnsley.
Game on.
Will throw first in the opening leg against the old stager Mervyn King, who's still here, still fighting. He's looking to make his second final of the year. Made the final of the 3rd Players' Championship event. He was beaten in a deciding leg by Rob Cross, who claimed his first PDC title.
60.
Will we see another first-time winner here today? Joe Cullen, the only man not to have won a PDC title out of the final 4. James Wade's won loads. Mervyn King has won his fair share as well, and obviously Gurney picked up his first one yesterday. Cullen has won on the development tour, or the youth tour as it was then. He won 3 titles, all back in 2011. That is also when he made his first PDC final. It was a UK Open qualifier, and he got a bit of a hiding from the power, Phil Taylor.
100.
Cullen losing that 6-1. But having had that run to the UK Open quarterfinals last year, he then went on to make 2 further Pro Tour finals, one here in Barnsley, one in Coventry. And again, both times, he's pretty convincingly beaten. In Coventry, Benito van der Pas did for him 6-0. And Ian White, the most recent one, in July, beat him 6-3 here at the Metrodome. So Joe Cullen, unfinished business, still searching for that first senior PDC title, and he's left himself double top for a 13-darter to kick things off here in the semi-finals, and he takes it out for a 14-darter to go 1-0 up. Mervyn King has not won a PDC title since September
100.
2014. That is a while. It was a European Tour title, so it was a big one. It was in Sindelfingen.
100.
Turned up in Germany on his motorbike. Played 3 days of action. Won the whole thing. Beat Michael Smith in the final.
60.
And then headed back to East Anglia on his bike. Like a spherical Dennis Hopper and Easy Rider.
81.
And after decades in the game, Mervyn King is still there, still competing.
60.
It was shortly after that win, actually. He made the final of the Masters, his last big TV final appearance, as Cullen fires in the first maximum of this one, attacking the Mervyn King throw. Mervyn looking to hit back.
140.
Mervyn with his more familiar bamboo cane style darts. We saw him change them in the middle of a game the other weekend, curiously. Merv's not taking out the 1-4-1. Cullen will look at tops. He took it out in 2 darts in the opening leg. He takes it out in 1 this time. So a 14-darter to hold, a 13-darter to break, And Joe Cullen has started this semi-final off exactly in the manner which he would have hoped.
93.
Leading 2-0. I know that the great Rod Harrington, man who
140.
set up the youth tour, of which Joe became a product, if you like, back in 2011 when he was winning those titles.
140.
I know he had a little word with Joe, going back 2 or 3 years now. He'd picked up on technical issues about particularly trying to get the right rhythm with his throw. Not throwing away his last dart too quickly, just trying to maintain a steady pace right the way through his visit. He's not the fastest thrower, but he has got a steady
58.
flow to his visits at the board. Rod's convinced that's been a big part of his growth as a dart player over the last couple of years. Certainly something has changed, whether it's a mental approach. I think he's knuckled down a bit. He certainly
78.
said that himself. He's approached it differently. He's tried to be more professional, tried to not treat it as just a game. Mervyn's not going to take out the 1-2-1. Cullen,
97.
well, there's pressure on this. King looking to break straight back. He's left double 12. What a check out this would be. Another one of those, or is it treble 14? No, he tried to find another bullseye. There was room in there. Not a lot of room in there. He's left himself tops. But Mervyn, double 12. And he does get double 12. He breaks straight back Mervyn King, an important moment in the early stages of this one. Hits it last dart. Had he not done so, with Cullen having taken out tops a couple of times already with relatively little fuss, you'd have quite fancied him to make it 3-0, but 2-1 it is.
Oh, sorry, 123.
It has been a long while since Joe Cullen has beaten Mervyn King competitive action. He's only done it the once in his career.
100.
It was back in the summer of 2014 in Coventry. He won it 6-2. Prior to that,
100.
Mervyn had beaten him twice. A long while ago, some of those. One was back in 2010. But since then, he's beaten him twice as well. 6-1 and 6-4.
134.
Once here in Barnsley, that was a 6-1 drubbing in the last 16. And once at the start of last year, 6-4. So,
100.
the feeling, the experience of beating Merv is not something that Joe Cullen has had on a regular basis. Got himself down to a big finish. And we have seen some big checkouts today already.
58.
Saw Stuart Kellett take out the 170, didn't we, against Dowell Gurney over on the other streaming ball with Chris Murphy, but the 167's not going to go. Mervyn King's got himself a Shanghai finish. Treble 20, single 20 tops. Lovely first dart. Second dart is fine. How about the third? That's the important one. Oh, it's perfect. Mervyn King, ton plus checkout, 2 apiece. And Joe Cullen is not having things all his own way right now, but that is a great response.
140. 100. 60. 60.
Mervyn King, seeded 18th today, just outside the top 20 in the world rankings as Cullen hits another ton 40, still looking for a second 180 in this match. Joe Cullen, Merv's yet to hit the maximum. Needed a maximum to get to a finish from that point, or at least 3 big trebles. Cullen's got 2 visits minimum to see this off. He may stay up there. Yes.
120 scored, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
129.
Interesting there that Cullen has decided to leave double 16 when he's had very few problems taking out double top.
140.
But double 16 is double of choice. Double 8 just next door. Double 4 all over the board. And there it is. 15 darter for Joe Cullen. His winning legs 14, 13 and 15. Nothing wrong with that.
45.
King, a man who is the first in the building for pretty much any event at which he competes. He's been here for hours, Mervyn King. It is a long old day, but it didn't stop him going all the way to the final of the third Players' Championship event. Didn't stop him going all the way to a deciding leg with Rob Cross. Admittedly, he couldn't quite get over the line to claim his first PDC title for 3 years, or 2.5 years. But even though he's had back problems and various other injury problems, and he's already sweating up a storm like a racehorse at the National, stamina doesn't seem to be that much of a problem for Merv. 140 gets him down to 76. Cullen not quite down to a finish as yet, but if he can fire in another treble, which he can, there's all sorts of pressure on this, isn't there? Can Merv stand up to it? Well, it's a wonderful first dart. Double 4. And there it is, Mervyn King, a 15-darter of his own to respond to Cullen's 15-darter. And you cannot separate these two. Both men taking out checkouts under pressure. Last start with their opponent ready to pounce. Merv toweling himself down. Somebody get a fan on the man. Like to cool him down. He's got enough fans. They're the Merverts. Fans all over the world.
140.
Why wouldn't they be? He's a man who's made at least the semi-finals of every major tournament in existence.
140.
Made the final of many of them. Won some in the BDO. It's like the World Masters. Won that in 2004.
95.
Won Zyder Down in 2005. Won the International Darts League that year as well. Former Premier League star. And still here, still competing.
58.
Still playing all kinds of tournaments. Regular competitor Mervyn King and a regular danger. Bit more regular nowadays. He started off 2017 very strongly. Cullen's left a Shanghai finish. Mervyn King can apply some pressure. But how much pressure? Oh, well, that's a loose dart.
47.
Loose dart from Merv. Doesn't make it easy. Cullen's making this difficult for himself, but 17
80.
will mean that he comes back looking at double top, and as we've said before, he's not had any problems with that. But wait, oh, Mervyn King, well, when he leaves 80, he tends to go treble 16, double 16. Doesn't get a go at the double, but once again, Joe Cullen proving deadly on double top. He led 2-0. Mervyn King pulled it back to 2-all, but since then we've had 3 holds of throw, and Joe Cullen, if double top continues to work for him in the way that it has so far. Now then, Mervyn. What's the confusion?
You'll start, yes. Oh, right, okay.
I think he's just letting our scorer know that he'll be throwing first and he'd like a big arrow pointing at his neck. Just so that everybody knows that. And unfortunately, now everybody knows he scored 44 to kick things off. And Joe Cullen has fired in his second maximum. Now then, Merv. Curious. Oof, 4 perfect darts for Cullen.
100.
But the 5th one goes astray. And Mervyn, the intensity level has just dropped. He is throwing them quicker, he is not looking as focused, and I'm not quite sure what has suddenly changed Mervyn's demeanour, because we've had 6 very, very closely contested legs of darts. Mervyn cannot get rid of the darts fast enough. He does not look like a man
134.
who is putting the same dedication and focus into each visit, and yet he still managed to fire in a couple of treble 19s there. But Joe Cullen, not needing to go the bullseye route, has set that up absolutely perfectly to leave double 16 after 12 darts.
81.
Well, Quickfire Merv has the ability to hit some trebles, but it's not quite there, is it? Cullen, double 16. Merv
16.
is going to get a go at the 104. That was for a break of throw. Now Merv, focus. Focus, Merv. Focus, Merv! 104 checkout. And in a leg which he started abysmally and didn't seem to be bothered about, Mervyn has finished absolutely stupendously. He survived 3 darts from Joe Cullen for a 5-3 lead.
34.
But Mervyn takes out the 104. 4 apiece. It's a best of 3 game. Cullen responds very well at the start of this leg, but so does Merv, and maybe the focus is back. I've given up trying to predict what Mervyn's going to do. That's what makes him so watchable. So insanely, bafflingly watchable.
100.
Cullen still has the advantage. He has the throw in this leg, and he would have the throw in a decider if it goes that far.
92.
Merv's not down to a finish. Cullen he'd love to take it out. He's not going to. He just wants to set it up as best he can. And that
54.
isn't quite what he was after. He's been very good at setting up the shot, Joe Cullen, so far in this match. He's coming to the board and he's left tops on a number of occasions. Or 32. This time he's looking at 81. 16 now for bullseye. It has to be a bullseye finish for Joe Cullen. And he gets a bullseye finish. And Joe Cullen is edging towards his 4th senior PDC ranking final. An 81 checkout on the bull. With Mervyn sat there, ready to find the breaker throw that he needs. It may prove to be decisive.
45.
Both men kick off 45.
95.
Only once before has Joe Cullen beaten Mervyn King in a professional game of darts.
134.
But he is going about this the right way as he looks to claim a second victory and book his place in another final. Mervyn has changed his darts. Right, I'm not sure when that happened. That bypassed me. Been too busy trying to figure out what's going on in Mervyn's head to figure out what's going on in his hand. But he has changed his darts once again. And it doesn't matter to Joe Cullen because he's fired in 180 number 3. Why Mervyn King has changed his darts, I do not know.
131.
Whether it will work for him, I do not know. The 142 is not going to go for Joe Cullen, but he's going to set it up pretty well. He's going to set it up phenomenally. He's left 32 for the match. Can Mervyn, with a new set of darts that he changed halfway through this game, produce the big one? Well, no, he can't. And it means that Cullen gets 3 match darts. He missed 3 at 32 just a couple of legs ago. Double 8. And he's done it again. Mervyn, to stay alive, he'll only get 1 dart. It's at tops. And it's high. Mervyn King misses a dart to take us all the way to a decider. Joe Cullen has got double 4 to book his place in a 4th senior PDC ranking final.
Game job.
And there it is. Joe Cullen has given himself an opportunity to claim his first PDC title today as the highest ranked player in the PDC who hasn't claimed a title. He is 1 win away from putting that right.